There's just this certain rhythm to being out on the road. That feeling of freedom, right? Watching the miles just roll by, the engine humming along. But underneath all that, there's this other hum, isn't there? A hum of constant change, especially in trucking these days.
Oh, absolutely. And those changes, they feel like they're coming faster and, well, hitting harder than ever before. The whole landscape is really shifting.
Yeah, it really is. And that's exactly the sort of dynamic stuff we're going to dive into today. We've gone through a whole stack of your sources covering, everything from immediate road safety things to the rise of automation, even how rail freight is shaking things up.
Right. And our goal here is like to cut through all that noise. We want to show you different viewpoints on these really critical developments and maybe most importantly, explore how they actually hit home for you as a driver. It's really about giving you the tools, the information to not just, react to it all, but to actually adapt and, well, hopefully thrive.
Exactly. Because like we always try to do, and like experts out there, Hervey from Life as a Trucker, always stress you got to look at these things from all angles,
Yeah.
get the full picture. So let's unpack this. Maybe start with the stuff that's right there on the road every day. Safety, surveillance, the daily drive.
Okay. And maybe the most fundamental place to start, something often overlooked, is tires. They're just this constant rolling reminder of how critical they are.
Yeah, that foundational piece. And your sources really highlighted that with this pretty traumatic incident out in Arizona. Picture this. Highway. A mobile home being hauled just flips over.
Yeah.
Total chaos, massive damage.
Hmm.
And you'd think, okay, engine blew, maybe high winds, some car cut it off.
Yeah.
Nope. It was tire failure.
Yeah.
Just one tire.
It's amazing, isn't it, how often tires kind of get pushed to the back burner in safety talks. But yeah, the sources are clear. They're a top cause of rollovers, load losses. That Arizona incident, thankfully no one was seriously hurt, but it was such a stark reminder of that danger just sitting there, often ignored.
So what do the experts in your sources say are the main reasons for a blowout like that? Is it usually just one thing?
Rarely just one thing. It's almost always a mix. Experts point to, like, underinflation that makes them overheat. Then there's just plain overloading, age, dry rot, even on tires that haven't actually run that many miles. And then you add in factors like extreme heat like you get in Arizona, or that really dangerous combo of speed plus weight plus stress.
Right.
And we can't forget what some sources called cheap recap jobs. Those can be, well, a real gamble.
That's a huge point. Because losing a tire at speed, it's way more than just pulling over to change it. Suddenly your load shifts, steering gets weird, braking gets sketchy, and the risk of rollover, jackknife, it's huge. And it's not just about you, your rig, your cargo, it's about everyone else out there on the road too.
Exactly, which is why those practical safety tips from the sources are just so crucial. It's got to be more than a quick kick, right? It's that whole inspect what you expect thing. Actually using a gauge for the PSI, really looking for bulges, cracks, dry rot, checking the valve stems. And don't forget those trailer tires, they're easy to overlook.
Mm-hmm.
And then mid-trip habits too, Feeling the sidewalls for heat, using a thumper, actually pulling over if you see a chunk missing, slowing down when it's crazy hot. These are the habits that save you.
And it seems like the industry, or parts of it anyway, are noticing. Arizona DOT pushing for more tire safety. Some insurance companies offering discounts if you can show good maintenance logs.
Yeah, and that push for TPMS, tire pressure monitoring systems, to be standard on trailers, that could be a big deal, alerting you before it becomes critical.
So it boils down to this for you, the driver, right? The sources put it pretty bluntly. A $200 tire isn't worth a $200,000 lawsuit or worse.
Exactly. It's about protecting your career, your load, and, lives. Your rubber, your responsibility. Simple as that.
Powerful stuff. A good reminder every time you climb in the cab. And speaking of those immediate road realities, there's another safety focus area, this one involving a really high-risk job, the TMA rig operators.
Oh, yeah. The truck-mounted attenuator rigs, those big crash cushions on wheels you see behind road crews, absolutely vital work, saving lives in work zones. But man, for the driver sitting in that TMA truck, it's like being a sitting duck, A really dangerous spot. Dozens are hurt or even killed every year doing that job.
It's incredibly dangerous. And that's where some new tech solutions are coming into play. Tell us about this proactive warning system they're proposing.
Right. So this is a system using radar or maybe LiDAR. Oh, LiDAR uses laser pulses to map things out, basically scanning behind the TMA truck. It detects vehicles coming up too fast, tracks their speed, direction, distance, and then gives an alert, a warning to the TMA driver and maybe the whole work crew.
Okay.
Sources even mention possibilities like maybe automated brakes on the TMA or flashing lights, horns, that kind of thing, trying to get everyone's attention.
Wow. That sounds like it could really make a difference. So what's the debate? Where's the pushback or the main arguments for and against?
Well, the supporters say it's long overdue. I mean, any warning is better than none, right? It could genuinely save lives. Give that driver a split second to brace or react. If it prevents even one death, they say it's worth it.
Makes sense.
But the critics, they point to the cost. Equipping whole fleets could be really expensive. And, there's no absolute guarantee it stops every single crash. Plus, the worry about false alarm systems going off when there's no real danger, that could get annoying, or worse, lead to complacency.
And what about the drivers themselves, the ones actually in that hot seat? What are they saying according to your sources?
Yeah, their perspective is, well, mixed. We saw quotes like, if I'm the one sitting in the bullseye, yeah, I want a warning.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. But then you hear concerns about who pays for it. Will the cost get passed down? And some see it as maybe the first step towards automating those TMA trucks entirely, getting rid of the driver job, since some automated ones are already being tested out there.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about the safety tech, but the bigger picture jobs, costs. And with work zone fatalities and insurance premiums going up, you can see the pressure building to maybe make systems like this mandatory eventually.
Exactly. That pressure is real. And it's leading to other kinds of tech being rolled out too, tech that feels very different on the ground for drivers.
That's a perfect transition. Let's shift gears. Imagine you're just driving along, doing your job, and suddenly you realize you're being scanned from the sky. Happened during Operation Safe Driver Week in New York. The DOT used thermal drones. Feels a bit sci-fi, doesn't it?
It really does. And what's fascinating is what they're looking for with these things. The thermal cameras can spot overheating brakes, like if one wheel is way hotter than the others, or the opposite, a cold wheel, which might mean the brake on that wheel isn't working at all. They can also pick up weird heat patterns from suspension problems or even tire issues, all from the air without an inspector having to get up close while you're rolling.
Okay, so from the state's point of view, the logic is pretty clear. They're talking public safety, efficiency, maybe catching things humans miss, less room for error. They see it as a tool to target the really risky trucks more effectively.
Right, that's the official rationale. But then you look at it from the driver's seat, and your sources picked up on a totally different vibe. Things like, feels like we're in a fishbowl, or don't sneak up on me like I'm a criminal.
Yeah.
There's also that feeling about priorities, like, they got money for flying cameras, but the roads are falling apart and I can't find parking. That sentiment came through loud and clear.
That really hits on the core issue, doesn't it?
Mm.
Trust. So, boiling down the arguments for and against the drones, what are the main sticking points?
Okay, so the case for the drones. They're potentially more accurate than just eyeballing things, arguably safer for the inspectors too, and yeah, they could prevent accidents if they spot a serious defect early.
Right.
The case against, it really centers on that feeling of, like, government overreach, big brother watching. There's worry about being flagged unfairly by an algorithm, And it just adds another layer of stress, this feeling of being watched, maybe distrusted. Like you said, it comes down to trust.
And it sounds like even if the big industry groups aren't officially fighting it yet, the chatter among drivers online on the CB shows real concern.
Oh, yeah. That feeling of being hunted rather than helped. Asking why resources go to surveillance instead of, say, safe parking, which is a huge issue.
It really underscores that technology itself isn't necessarily good or bad. It's how it's implemented, right?
Yeah.
And how it makes people feel. Drivers need to feel like partners in safety, not just targets.
Well said. And these immediate things, tires, TMA tech, drones, they highlight how tech is changing the daily grind. But then there are these even bigger shifts happening. Automation, intermodal, affecting the whole future of freight.
Let's pivot to that, these larger industry shifts. Automation, intermodal freight, which is basically, using multiple ways like rail and truck to move goods without unloading in between. Let's see what your sources say about where this is all headed.
Okay, so let's look at Aurora Innovation and their driverless truck expansion. Big news from them recently. They're expanding their autonomous freight network, adding new lanes in Texas, Dallas, Houston, El Paso. And maybe just as significantly, they hired a new chief financial officer, Adrian Thompson.
Okay, new lanes make sense, but why is hiring a CFO such a big deal here?
Well, it signals something important. Bringing in a serious finance person right now suggests they're moving beyond just proving the tech works. They're getting serious about making it a real business, making it profitable, scaling it up efficiently. It means major players are betting real money that this driverless tech isn't just some future fantasy. It's becoming a commercially viable thing, maybe sooner than a lot of folks think.
Okay, that definitely puts a different spin on it. So for you, the driver listening, does this mean the robots are taking over tomorrow? What does Aurora's actual model look like on the ground?
Not quite robots taking over, not yet anyway. Their current setup is what they call a transfer hub model. Think of it like this. An autonomous truck does the long, boring middle part, highway miles between special terminals, but a human driver still does the pickup at the start, brings it to the hub, and then another human driver takes it from the destination hub for that final last mile delivery.
Ah, okay, so that model actually
Right.
creates new short-haul jobs for now.
Exactly. Right now, it creates those first mile, last mile jobs. That's a really important point.
But, yeah, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Long term, the goal is probably less human involvement, right?
Yeah.
What are the vibes you're getting from the industry and drivers on this?
Oh, definitely mixed reactions, for sure. You've got the optimists who say, hey, this could mean better quality of life for drivers, more home time, less burnout, maybe solving the driver shortage, and maybe new jobs open up, like overseeing the tech or remote monitoring.
Okay. The positive view.
Then you have the skeptics. They see it as, the slow creep towards eliminating driver jobs altogether. They question if the tech is really, truly ready for all the chaos of the real world, bad weather, crazy traffic, unexpected construction zones. And there's a strong feeling among some drivers that their experience, their voice, just isn't being heard in all these high-tech developments.
So the takeaway from your sources seems to be this isn't time to panic necessarily, but it is time to strategize. The ground is shifting. Adaptation is going to be key.
Absolutely. And speaking of shifting ground, let's talk rail.
Yeah.
BNSF just launched this new LA to Houston Express service. It's an expedited intermodal service promising faster, more direct, more consistent freight movement between Southern California and Houston.
Okay, faster rail. Why now? What's behind that specific move? Just speed.
It's a few things coming together, really. You've got the Texas market absolutely booming. Port activity is up generally. The trucking side is feeling stretched thin in certain areas capacity-wise, and just this overall trend of freight moving south. So BNSF is basically jumping in, seeing an opportunity to grab a bigger slice of that freight pie by offering something potentially quicker and more reliable than long-haul trucks for that specific lane.
But I mean, rail isn't trucking, is it? There are fundamental differences.
Huge differences. That's critical to remember. Rail is awesome for certain things. Big volumes of stuff that doesn't need delicate handling, like retail goods, appliances, materials, super efficient for long distances. But it doesn't go door to door. Terminals are limited. You can get delays at those transfer points, the rail yards. Shippers still absolutely need the flexibility, the last mile precision that only trucks can really provide.
So translating that down to the driver level, what does this faster rail service actually mean for you? Does it hit company drivers and owner-operators differently?
Potentially, yeah. For company drivers, especially those running that specific SoCal to Texas lane, it could mean fewer of those long-haul routes, maybe more regional work, more stuff feeding into or out of those rail hubs.
Okay.
For owner-operators, it might actually open up more opportunities for intermodal work hauling containers to and from the rail yards. But the flip side is you got to watch the rates. If a lot of freight shifts to rail on that corridor, it could put downward pressure on trucking rates for similar lanes.
Right, competition. So it's not like rail is suddenly replacing trucks entirely, not by a long shot. But it's definitely another signal, another piece of the puzzle showing that speed and efficiency are absolutely ruling the freight world now.
Yeah, it's another one of those wake-up calls, a sign that drivers maybe need to think about diversifying, adapting, finding their niche in this changing environment.
Which really brings us full circle, doesn't it? When you connect all these things, we've talked about the safety tech, the drones, the autonomous trucks, this ramped up rail competition.
Yeah, they all kind of point in the same direction. They're all signals, wake-up calls, not just for the industry as a whole, but really for you, the individual driver navigating it all.
And this ties into that core idea, that philosophy we picked up from your sources, especially thinking about folks like Hervey. It's about finding ways to get out, or maybe transition, on your terms. Not because burnout finally gets you, or because some industry shift forces your hand, but because you've planned for it, you're ready.
Exactly. And a really crucial message coming through is this. Drivers need to start managing their time, not just for the shippers and the schedules, but for themselves. Using that downtime, that off-duty time, strategically, especially now with everything changing.
So what does that look like practically?
Well, it means thinking about learning new skills, maybe brushing up on the business side of things if you're an owner-operator, maybe diving into understanding logistics tech, dispatch software, or even exploring some of those tech-adjacent roles that might pop up around autonomous trucking.
And here's a really interesting angle from the sources. Leveraging any new flexibility. Like, if those transfer hubs for autonomous trucks do mean more predictable, shorter runs for human drivers?
Right. That could mean more consistent home time, and that home time is a golden opportunity, an opportunity to maybe build other income streams, particularly online
Okay,
ones.
building online income. Tell me more about why that scene is so important right now.
Well, think about it. Having another source of income, especially something recurring, that comes in whether you're driving that week or not. That's like a shield against volatile freight rates, economic downturns, all that uncertainty. It gives you options. It gives you a pathway to maybe step back from driving or retire when you decide you want to, not when the industry dictates it. And frankly, it's protection. If, say, your main trucking company downsizes or goes under, or your specific role changes dramatically.
That makes a ton of sense.
Hmm.
Financial resilience. And here's where it gets really interesting, maybe even empowering. You can actually use some of this new tech, like AI tools, to help build those income streams.
Exactly. That's the twist. AI isn't just something happening to the industry. You can make it work for you. Maybe use AI to help create content about life on the road, build a following, or offer remote consulting based on your experience, or even develop simple tools or resources for other drivers.
So turning the tech challenge into a personal advantage. Making AI your ally, not your replacement.
Precisely. It reframes these challenges, the automation, the competition, the new tech, even the surveillance, those. They don't have to be just threats. They can actually be the catalysts, the push you need to take more control over your career, secure your financial future, making these changes work for you on your terms. That's the key message.
Okay, so we've really covered some ground today, digging into your sources,
Mhm.
from the nitty-gritty of tire safety and those thermal drones,
Mhm.
to the ongoing debates around TMA safety tech, and then these huge future shifts with driverless trucks and faster rail. It's clear the industry is, well, incredibly dynamic, lots of challenges, yeah, but also seems like real opportunities for drivers who are ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this whole deep dive, pulling directly from your sources, was really about arming you with that knowledge, suggesting some practical steps. The goal is for you to feel respected, supported, and yeah, ultimately more in control of your own journey, whether that's behind the wheel today or planning what comes next.
So maybe we leave you with this thought to chew on. We know this industry is always evolving, always changing. The real question is, how are you going to use these insights, this knowledge about what's coming, to shape your own path? How can you turn these potential disruptions into your own personal advantages?